good. Yeah, guys, make sure you check it out. It's a lot of good stuff. So tonight's topic again. So where's this coming from? So I'm just kind of about 3/4 of the way through a series of videos that I'm doing. And again, I'm not doing this tonight's podcast to like push any particular manufacturer. I've got no affiliate links. Everything you're seeing, that I'm going to mention in that video, I purchased before. And so anyway, I've done 4 videos in the series now. This idea that I have is where I am right now. It's about a 25-mile radius that I have to travel to visit family. I really don't head much out of town anymore. So the thought was, if I needed to get home, what's it going to take? What could be kind of a worst case scenario for whatever reason, civil unrest or something happens and I have to abandon my vehicle. I wouldn't want to, but I don't exactly have a vehicle that's really designed for off-roading anymore. That I couldn't just take off a paved road easily. So, this idea of the get home bag is what I call it, or the truck gun bag is actually, I'm not going to lie to you. I got the idea from Defense Dad because he picked one up and showed me how much stuff he puts in his get home bag or his truck gun bag, which it's actually kind of a stealth survival backpack, if you will. And that I decided to go ahead and get one because I travel quite a bit and I get tired of taking like 3 or 4 separate bags and a bunch of gun cases when I go on the road to visit friends or family. I just want everything in one spot where it's easy to go. I can throw it on if I have to. I can get out what I need right away, not spend 10 minutes trying to put stuff together. And so I've done 4 videos right now, and I've got a playlist on my channel, and then I have links to the next video on the previous videos. If you watch my truck gun bag series, you'll see it in there. And so you guys can watch them if you want to, and I show all the different things I put in there. Now, I was going to show that off this evening. Decided not to because Amazon, their photos really do show you basically how I have mine set up. Very, very similar. I've got more stuff in mine, but I can also talk about what I put in it. And so I just want to, and I'm thinking maybe Saturday we'll talk about maybe, summer travel items that we take with us. We usually have this like severe weather discussion every year on this channel where we talk about, what do you keep in your vehicle for emergencies or in the home? Do you have a bag on standby and so on? And so that might be Saturday's discussion. Today's more about like what kind of basic items would you take or do you take, say when you travel, when you hit the road and all of it, it really does depend on where you're going and what kind of accommodations you have waiting for you when you get there, because you might be doing a business trip and it's not feasible to take, like say a pistol bag with you or anything like that. What do you take with you? What is your truck gun bag? What is your get home bag, right? Before we do that, real quick, we had a couple people just join us. So Kingpin, why don't you go ahead and let us know a little bit about you, introduce yourself, give us your plugs. What's going on, Kingpin?
Oh man, good to see everybody. Thanks for having me. Appreciate the invite.
Get over there and check out Kingpin's channel. He's got a lot of great content over there. And one cool thing that he does is he definitely pushes the smaller channels to show you what's out there for great gun content. So you never know what you're going to find when you go to Kingpin's channel. You might get some recommendations for some really cool channels. So, all right.
Yeah, I'll be posting a link to the firearm specialist.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to the kid and he accidentally deleted his channel.
Yeah.
So that's what happened to his first channel. So if you watch the video I put out, the link is to his new channel. So because a lot of people had said that they went back to see and they could, like you had mentioned, you couldn't get to his channel. Well, that channel's gone. He accidentally deleted that. So that's the link that I've been posting is for his new channel. And I appreciate everybody checking him out.
Absolutely, man. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. All right. Also joining us, we've got Single Shot, also from the East Coast. Single Shot, what's going on, man? How you doing tonight? You good?
Oh, doing all right, I guess. I'm taking off again tomorrow morning, so.
Staying busy, man. Too busy.
Oh, yeah. I got to do that.
Yeah.
I had quite a little surprise waiting for me when I got home this time, though, because I misjudged the amount of fuel that I had left in my tank, and I come home to quite a cold house.
Oh, so, yes.
I've been trying to figure out how I was going to go about getting some fuel oil, and I haven't crossed that bridge yet, I guess. So I'm going to
extra blankets, my friend. That's about all you can do.
Oh, right now, so. Yeah, that's what we've been doing.
Yeah.
It's the only thing you really can do with that joker that's in office. So anyway.
Yeah, man.
It's been
we'll see how it goes.
That's
all right. That's good. Make sure you guys, check out Single Shot. He's got a channel over on Rumble that he likes to promote. He's also got the Single Shot channel on YouTube. So it's single space shot with an exclamation point by it. You guys can look it up. Easy to find the channel. And lots of great content over there. So make sure you do check it out, man. Now,
we try to put it on there as much as we can.
Heck yeah, heck yeah. So single shot, you're kind of in an interesting, situation. We'll just get the discussion going here. A lot of employers, if you're a truck driver, you can't carry any firearms with you when you're using the company's vehicle or because of regulations and stuff crossing over between states. Do you keep like any kind of emergency bag in your truck? I mean, what is your like kind of basic provisions you have with you when you're on the road? Do you not worry about it because there's a truck stop every 25 miles? What's kind of your thoughts on having like an emergency bag? Now, again, I call it a get home bag or a truck gun bag because the idea is you have up to a firearm and the basic provisions you need to get to where you're going, whether it's on foot or in your vehicle. So what works for you, man? What do you have in your vehicle?
Well, I really don't have a whole lot because with everything that's been going on here, and as far as the regulations are concerned, there is no law or regulation against carrying a firearm in the truck, but there's two criteria that have to be met. Number one is you have to have permission from the company.
Mm-hmm.
And number two, you have to have the weapon in one locked container. This is a part that makes no sense to me, especially the way things are going now. It's going. The second lock box has to contain your magazines if it's a semi-auto and the ammunition. And both of those have to be out of the reach of the driver's reach from the driver's seat. So with that being clarified, you can carry a weapon in the truck if your employer allows it. And there's not too many of them that do. So
and it could be because they don't like it, they don't want it, they don't think it's necessary, they don't think it's necessary, or it could also be insurance.
The litigation.
Also, yeah,
it's the litigation. Liability, because there's so much that can go wrong in a situation, and if you're not up to par on the laws, you've got yourself a problem. Another thing that helps on that too is if you have a CCP, that's a concealed carry permit. But you again have to remember which states that you have reciprocity with.
Yeah, and then also, do they have mag
reciprocity?
Do they have Amazon? Do they have Amazon? Do they have ammo restrictions? Like when you go from New York to New Jersey, or the whole hollow point thing that can happen. Like me going into Colorado, they've got magazine capacity limits that are lower than what I'm allowed to have in Nebraska, and they're right next door. So it's like, okay, do I have to change my mags? Do I just adhere to my own laws? What do I do if I go to the next state over? And it is confusing to try to look those things up. So yeah, that's the one thing I should say. If you're going to have one of these bags and you travel around, make sure you know the law of the lands that you're going to be going through, so you don't have any kind of hassle if you get pulled over and get searched or whatever.
Yeah, you don't need that. Trust me.
Yeah. And Nebraska is absolutely notorious. And the Highway Patrol here, they make a lot of amazing busts in Nebraska because we're a major pipeline for drugs going across Interstate 80. I'll just say it because we have hundreds and hundreds of pounds of things that people get busted with every month, if not every couple months. So, I mean, it's coming across our state. And so a lot of out-of-state vehicles, way more out-of-state vehicles get pulled over than in-state. Now, granted, they tend to drive fast. I'm just saying as somebody who drives on Interstate 80 a lot. So if you don't want to get pulled over in Nebraska, and I'm not trying to help any drug dealers here, but don't speed. Don't go 90. They're going to pull you over for going 90. You're not in Denver anymore. You're not in Kansas City, right?
Okay, so those people are not going fast. I've driven through there. You Nebraskans drive slow. Pick up the pace, would you?
If you're more than three over, and then you know what? Here's what I'm going to see on the side of the road: a pulled over pickup truck with Michigan plates on it and a K9 unit pulled in behind it.
He got to catch me first. He's got to catch me because I have a feeling the cops probably drive just as slow. It takes a long time to get from Wyoming to Iowa through Nebraska. It takes a while. So if you're just ditty bopping, you ain't going to get there.
Well, I mean, you know, some people will go up to 10 over, but 3 over, they're going to get you. I'm just saying, if you don't want anything, you don't want anything to happen to you and you're out of state, just be forewarned. And they'll say that you followed too closely or you went right or left of center, and it's just an excuse to pull you over. So.
You know, if I'm going westbound, I expect some trouble. But if I'm headed east through Nebraska and he pulls me over, just be like, officer, I had a tailwind. So.
Yeah, there you go. Just say I have to. I got a 4-cylinder, man. I got a. Yeah, defense dad with the comment of the evening. You can't outrun the radio, Squibby. Well, and our cops drive the Interceptor Chargers. Is that right? Yeah, they've got the Chargers, and so they go. You know, they're insanely fast. So, anyway, so single shot. That's interesting to know that, you know, again, there's a lot of things So that's why when we're showing stuff off tonight and talking about what we do, you want to be really careful that you're not, and even your own employer. Your own employer might have rules about keeping a firearm on their property if you're their employee, because if it's their property, you know, they can dictate those laws even if you have a concealed carry permit. And I don't know if that can, if your carry permit surpasses their private property laws. I don't know, because I know for some military installations, post offices, you know, things like that, you can't be on their property with a firearm. Not that, I mean, they're not going to know unless they check, but you don't want to risk losing your job over to getting arrested, you know.
Well,
so
the best advice I could give anybody on that is do your homework before you take a firearm out of state. Because, like you said, some of those fines and stuff are very expensive, and a lot of times they will include jail time. New Jersey, New York, Connecticut. You know, those people don't fool around.
Absolutely, man. That's right. All right, so Squib, let's move over to you. What is kind of your what is your get home bag, truck gun bag? Do you have anything at all? Just you can keep some basic road supplies with you. Do you, because you got a little bit of a commute to work, right?
Yeah, I don't have a truck gun per se. First off, in my state, that's kind of that doesn't really fly. Secondly, I'm not a big proponent of leaving a gun in your vehicle. I mean, maybe if I lived on a 500-acre ranch and it was like a half-mile drive to get down my driveway or something, or if I kept my vehicle in a locked garage at night. Now, I'm not saying that I think there should be laws against it. You want to leave your gun in your car, whether you just got a carport, a driveway, or, you know, whatever it is, that's on you. It's like Single Shot said, do your due diligence, know your state laws.
Yeah, But
if somebody breaks in, well, if somebody breaks into your car in your driveway in the middle of the night and steals your gun out of it, and you make a YouTube video saying boo-hoo, I'm probably going to be the jerk who comments going ha ha. So I'm not big on that, but I don't think it should be against the law. I think it should be your choice and your risk, honestly. But
some places don't let you keep it in your car for more than 24 hours, the firearm, you know, even if you have a carry permit, all this and all that. So, yeah.
I would have to look into it more. I mean, my vehicle's in my driveway. As far as I know, I can leave guns in them overnight. It's once I get out on the public roads, it's a whole different thing. But regardless, I don't really have a truck gun per se, because first off, they won't let you drive around in the state with a loaded AR-15 in the backseat of your Jeep, which I thought was cool, but just a foreign concept to me. I'm not against it. I just, you know.
That's one thing Nebraska has, right? That's the only thing we have, right?
Yeah, you guys are weird. It's like you can have an AR, in the backseat, loaded and ready to go, but you can't have a shotgun.
Well, the way that I understand, I could be totally wrong about this, it was kind of a farmer rancher thing that they had petitioned to allow loaded rifles in vehicles, because they never know if they're going to have to grab it to take out some sort of predator on their property that could be attacking their livestock. So, and whereas the shotgun's only going to go so far, which it will go far, but the ability of having your 243 or 270 or AR on standby. And Pat, you might want to help me on this one. Does that make sense? Is that what it was all about? Was like the rancher provision thing? That's one of the reasons why we can have loaded rifles in our vehicle in Nebraska?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. That's been clear back in the day.
He might have stepped out of the bunker.
No, he's talking. Yeah, we got him. So anyway, that's so I guess for me, that's part of it also, is having, you know, the truck gun bag or the truck gun. I can have the assembled weapon with me in the bag, you know, right next to me when I'm on a road trip and stuff. So Squib, let me ask you a question. When you do interstate travel, because you like to see the country, do you have a different kind of loadout you take with you? Do you what works for you? You pistol, rifle? What do you tend to travel with?
Yes, it really just depends. It depends on where my final, where am I going to be spending the most time, or how far am I going? Like, for example, the time we went up through New Jersey and New York and all the way to Connecticut and stuff, we didn't bring any guns, right? We're just going through too many commie states. It isn't worth it. It isn't worth it. Yeah. You can quote FOPA and the cop doesn't care, right? So it doesn't. And what was I bringing them for? What? I'm going to walk around New York City with an AR-15 over my shoulder? No. Not to mention. No. And here's the thing. I'm not against somebody carrying. You want to carry all the time or do what you want to do. Me, I don't carry very often. Even when I had a concealed carry permit, I don't. And I can open carry in my state. And hopefully one day we get constitutional carry and stuff. But I just don't carry very often. It's kind of a hassle. I can defend myself without a gun. So I'm really not too worried about it. So it's more for me, it's carrying some of the other stuff, the other, things like first aid supplies or other things like that might be useful if the vehicle is broke down, or if I'm trying to, I guess, get home or work. I really don't have a quote unquote bag. I suppose what I could do is just buy an inexpensive surplus bag and just throw it underneath the seat with all the other stuff. And then if I had to load all that junk in the bag, I got something to carry it in. But I really just don't. I'm not against it. When I say all this stuff, like I was talking about the Nebraska law with the shotgun. I wasn't trying to make fun of Nebraska.
Oh, no, not at all. No, it's ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous. You can't even have them in the tube chain. You can't even have them in the magazine tube in the shotgun, even if you don't even have one chambered,
Each state has got some weird, quirky law. You can say, I live in the best state. We've got no laws and we can do this. Yeah, there's something. Don't worry. If I dig far enough, I will find something that says on the third Tuesday of every month, you can't carry a gun or something. Yeah. It's just really weird. Every state has got something weird. So if you want to start having a measuring contest over who's better, it depends on how you carry your gun. So I guess because I don't really keep a gun in the vehicle. And sometimes when I travel late, coming out to Thunder on the Prairie, I'm going to bring guns, right? When I came out to your place in 2017, we were going to do some shooting. I brought some guns. When I was on the road trip last year, I had guns. I concealed carried and open carried my 1911 while I was on that trip, just depending on what the state laws were in different states. But in general, I just really don't. I keep stuff in the truck for dealing with emergencies like having a shattered windshield, dealing with a flat tire, first aid,
crappy weather, just like basic provisions.
If we're trapped on the side of the road and there's snow or heavy rain, it's whiteout, things like that. Something like a drop cloth, duct tape, cable ties, and a tarp is a good thing to have in the vehicle. But when the cop searches your vehicle, they're going to think that you're abducting somebody. I made a joke about that in one of my videos. I keep a tool called a trucker's friend. It's an axe and a pry bar and a hammer and a few other things in one.
I remember that. I remember the video on that. Yeah.
I keep some wooden blocks. I keep a gas mask in my vehicle. One thing I noticed, it's on the list. I can't believe I forgot it. I didn't put any rope back there. Some decent rope. Make sure it's got a decent, brake strength.
Brake weight.
I've got some ratcheting straps, but I do not have a recovery strap. Recovery strap is something I used to carry all the time. I broke it one time after years and years of use. I need to get that and put it in the truck. Let's see, an e-tool, maybe a decent shovel would be something. And if I can get something that folds up, I do not like the military issue one, the trifold. That is crap. I would rather get something else for an e-tool. I don't know if I'm going to have enough room for all this underneath the seats. I definitely keep first aid stuff. I keep hand sanitizer. I keep stuff, really simple stuff, like extra earbuds because I'm a YouTuber, right? Extra USB cords because I'm a YouTuber. I keep extra CR123 batteries for that Olight you gave me. I keep extra sets of sunglasses for myself and my wife in both vehicles. You never know when you're going to be somewhere and you break a set of sunglasses. Just simple.
Or you're in Michigan, snowblind. I mean, it's awful trying to walk around in a daytime with snow all over the ground. It can be blinding. Especially if you're trying to operate in some kind of hostile environment and you've got snowblind going on. You don't realize it until you actually go out in the afternoon on a sunny day with a completely snow-covered scene. It's really crappy. It's like being right next to the ocean. So, and it sunburns you too. So,
Gloves. Remember that video you did a long time ago where you showed off the gloves that you bought at Harbor Freight Tool? Yeah, I bought a set of those gloves. They're real tight on my hands because they don't have them in my size. And I think I did get another pair that wasn't my size that was more heavy duty, like mechanics gloves. Keep that in there. Tire inflator. Last year for Father's Day, I got a battery operated tire inflator. It's got the light on it. The light can strobe or just be a regular light to shine at night. What I need to do is get one of those extensions, because the tire inflator runs off the cigarette lighter, and I've got two of those. I've got two of those jacks in the truck. I need to get one of those extension cords that's just, extends the cigarette lighter. So I need to add that. Maybe I'll get that for Father's Day this year. Because of the whole C-19 stuff, I keep some plain black masks in the glove box. I kept that around in case we ever had to go to a funeral back when they had mandates in different places, or traveling out of state. I keep a couple keffiyehs in there, which I can use as a face covering, or I can cover my head or something else like that. It can be used as a tourniquet. It can be used as a rag if you needed to. So I keep a couple keffiyehs in there.
These are all good ideas. There's a lot of stuff you mentioned that I haven't put in my bag. I've got some mechanics wear gloves I should probably throw in my truck gun bag, just because if I gotta do work in a rough environment or whatnot, you never know what it's going to be like. I always keep extra gloves in my vehicle, like you. I've got 2 extra pairs of gloves. I got some thin ones and some heavy ones, mainly if I gotta change a tire and I gotta do it, say, in January. Also, I keep it's relatively small. I mean, I don't keep this in my bag, but just something to think about throwing in there. I've got a torque wrench that's just like a compact torque wrench that fits in a little hard case. I keep that in my vehicle because it's so much faster and easier to take off lug nuts off a vehicle with the torque wrench than try to get the one out of the car that's right next to the tire and the jack and all that crap. So I have that, and sometimes I even travel with a second car jack when I've got to do a long trip. If I know I'm going to be taking mostly interstate routes, I don't tend to do roadside assist or anything like that. When I have a flat, I change it myself. So having a second jack, an actual little 4-wheel jack, just throw it in the back and forget about it. That and then a torque wrench can really speed up those tire changes if you're ever on the side of the road. Because we have people that get hit on our interstates quite often when they're or on the highway when they're changing tires in the summertime. It happens, unfortunately. So those little things like that. But that's not really the whole truck gun bag thing, though. But still, so there's a lot of things that you mentioned that I've got the same. The only difference is I tend to have everything just in one spot in one giant bag. But that's a little cumbersome to take with, and you can see it in the vehicle, obviously. I mean, I can stow in the back with the hatch and stuff if I have to, but so yeah, that's definitely one thing to keep in consideration. So,
There's one other note that I want to make. If you want to find out what kind of trouble that you can get into without knowing this, get yourself caught in a self-defense situation out of state.
Oh,
that will make you cry mama for a very long time.
My carry insurance, I pay an extra like $8 a month, which gives me 50 state coverage. I think I had to add that to it. It was like, I think it's under U.S. Law Shield. I pay a little extra that covers out of state incidents. So I'm you make one phone call and you get your lawyer going. So yeah. Yep. All right, Kingpin, let's move on to you, man. When you travel, do you ever pack anything extra just in case? I mean, I know you don't want to give away all of your secrets, but any recommendations for things people should take into consideration, or because you're in a different state than a lot of us, so.
It depends on what you mean by travel. If you mean
like if you're going to do a 25-mile trip to go visit family, or a 50-mile trip, or an out-of-state trip, do you tend to pack a little extra? Do you have kind of a get-home bag or like an emergency provisions bag at all, or do you not have to worry about that?
No, I mean, I keep a basic little boo-boo kit with me, Band-Aids and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I've always got a knife or two on me somewhere.
Good knife. Yeah.
I'm a little bit different. I don't care about the law. So, I don't carry a weapon with me. I'm Baltimore City my whole life and all that kind of stuff. Never needed to carry a gun with me or anything like that. If I feel that I need to have a gun with me, it doesn't matter what the law says at that point. So that's where I'm a little bit different than most people, because it just doesn't matter to me. So I generally don't have to prepare for that kind of stuff. And then the other thing is I don't go anywhere. So in my general everyday travels, I could walk pretty much anywhere I go any day. So for the most part, and I can walk a pretty far distance. So I'm not like talking about walking around the corner, but we generally work rather close to where I live. My parents live rather close to where I live. when I'm not at either work or their house, I'm here, or the range, which is pretty close to where I live. So there's not really going to be too much of an emergency situation that I get in, especially where I live at these days.
Okay. Yeah, I guess with me, with me, it's like, to get certain places here, you've got to go, 25, 50 miles. To me, it's a little bit, or to get to family, or sometimes when I head out west, I'm going to be going a couple hours out, and it's fairly sparse and fairly open. So, yeah, I don't disagree with what you're saying. I totally agree. I guess with me, I've always got my carry firearm with me when I'm not at work, when I'm out and about and stuff like that. I have that on me. But I guess with this one, it's just, me living in a well, you're in a fairly urban dense area to yourself, so. Things were looking a little bit crazier, a year or two ago. So, all right, man, cool.
I was also, part of the problem when I used to go out in public. So you guys generally aren't part of the problem still. And now that I just don't go out in public, I don't have to really worry about that kind of stuff.
Gotcha, man. Gotcha. Cool. All right. Chris, what about you, man? What would you say? Do you have anything for travel that you do, or, if you ever have to do any interstate travel or anything like that? I know you're a working man, so you're out and about. So, what you do is going to be a little bit different. Yeah.
My situation's a little different. I'm in and out of 3 different trucks each day, depending on if I'm digging. I got one truck taking the excavator, and then I've got my service truck that I'm running around in, or I'm borrowing one of my employees' vehicles to go get supplies. So I just keep a small sling pack, and I keep I carry a 365 XL, so I've always got a 12 round mag in it and an extra 12 on me, and then I keep 4 15 round mags in that bag. And I got a Leatherman and a knife, and I've got a power bank in there with all the cables I need to charge the flashlight that's in the bag, and keep my cell phone charged if I'm away from power for a while. I have added a trauma pack to it now. One of my best friends is a paramedic. He just built one for me. The only thing is now I got to take a class because I got to learn how to use half the stuff that's in that bag.
Start off with the Stop the Bleed class. Those are usually free. Well, the one that I took was free, and I learned so much. You learn it doesn't make you like, a paramedic or anything, but it does a lot to teach you about how to stop bleed outs from a gun wound. That's the whole idea behind it. So,
right.
And it doesn't take, for the basic wound, for what you need, you just need a few basic supplies to stop the bleeding, essentially, depending on severity and stuff. But I'd highly recommend it. I took it and it was great. And it wasn't an anti-gun class. It was just, hey, we're going to show you how to stop people from dying from bleeding out. That's all it was. You had people from all different backgrounds taking the class when I took it. Everybody's there for common cause. And when you get done, you feel like you could maybe handle a situation that could happen,
Yep.
So yeah. No, I agree totally.
That's going to be in the near future. I'm looking into a couple of them right now. So
okay.
Yeah, I don't carry a whole lot. Like I said, I just want something I can keep moving back and forth from vehicle to vehicle. For the most part, 90% of the time, especially during the work week, I'm never more than 15 miles away from my house.
Okay.
Most of my work stays pretty close to home. So.
Well, my other thought that I have with mine is, living in a dense urban area like I do, if there'd be some sort of civil unrest or some sort of breakdown and so on, I've got 25 miles I got to go to get to my nearest relative's house that I would consider myself safer at, if I couldn't stay here, if I had to leave. Now, that's more of a bug out situation, but I want something that's going to get me either here or there, because I have a relative that lives out of town that has, they have their own groundwater. They're not totally off grid, but they're in an area that's fairly isolated that would feel almost safer than being in an urban environment. So maybe that's part of it with me also. Of course, I'd have to get there, which is not going to be the easy part. But yeah, I do hear you. And I'm, what I'm just doing basically, I noticed that Defense Dad did post something where he said that he's got a different bag that he carries, for just kind of in town versus interstate travel or city to city travel. So, you might have a couple different setups that you go with. All right. So Pat, I'm going to move over to you. You've got a couple bags behind you. You live in a rural area, so you can understand what I'm talking about when I say you sometimes go a couple hours on a highway. You might see a car, you might go on the interstate for a couple hours and see one highway patrolman or maybe one sheriff's vehicle in 50 or 100 or 150 miles. So, and again, a lot of people don't understand that concept. Maybe it's just part of it being in a more open area, more rural environment. It's more, you're kind of having to rely on yourself. Granted, you got a cell phone, but you don't know if it's going to work. You don't know how fast somebody can get to you. It could be a weather issue or whatnot. So what works for you, man? What's kind of your, not necessarily bug out bag, but what do you tend to go with? Like what works for you for a like a get home bag or a truck gun bag when you travel?
Well, actually, I'll grab the one bag up and show you guys.
Yeah.
This is the size that I carry, like if I'm going out for like a day or two, you know, with the kids and stuff. I've got some snacks. I've got a power bank that lives in here, you know, that'll charge me and the wife's cell phone a couple times, you know, nothing huge, but like a small med kit and a couple bottles of water. I do carry a little bit of extra ammo for the concealed carry in here, just in case that's the only gun that I've got. There's ammo that lives in here. You know, and it's nothing fancy. This is just a rattlesnake tactical bag. Built pretty decent. You know, it's not bad. Flashlight on the side that lives on it.
Yep.
Times. I've got a pair of gloves. You know, but you know, this is my, if I'm just going to throw this in the car, you know, and then
so you kind of set it up for whatever you're going to do. Yeah.
So,
yeah, I see that. Okay.
Big difference between a bug out bag and just the one I'm going to throw in the car for a day or two. You know.
Yeah, when we say bug out, we're talking long term, might not be coming back. Got to get to your safe place, possibly permanently, you know. And so everybody kind of tailors that for their individual needs. And, you know, you're also talking about having like some of the daddy supplies in there, you know, food, snacks, water. And I think Defense Ed had made a comment like that also. He goes, obviously, you guys don't have kids. You've got to have, you know, battery packs for the phones. You've got to have the snacks. You got to have wet wipes, you know, all that stuff. So kind of depending on what you want to go with, that kind of determines what you're going to set it up as. Again, go ahead.
I'll add one more little thing, and especially depending on what time of year it is. I mean, if it's summertime, then I've usually got a small deal of insect repellent and sunscreen in there. You know, and then during the wintertime, you know, I may change out my regular mechanics gloves for heavy duty winter gloves, just in case I'm having to work on something, they get soaked. Or an extra pair of wool socks, you know, and it all depends on what time of year it is. I mean, that really influences my bug out bag and my get home bag that I just throw in, you know, the car or the truck, you know, whatever I'm going to, because the nearest big city to me is about 45 miles away, is the nearest Walmart. So if that tells you where I might or may not live in a bunker somewhere between Nebraska, Kansas, and Colorado.
Oh yeah, no, and I agree totally. Yeah, when I lived in a you know, I mean, granted, when I lived down in central Nebraska, there was a town every 10 miles, but I'd gone to some places south where you'd go 20 or 30 miles without hitting another small town. And there'd been times, I'm not kidding you, there'd been times where you'd come upon a vehicle on its top, or you'd come upon somebody that had an accident, or going on Interstate 80, seeing a vehicle on its side on fire. These things happen in the summertime. So it just, I was doing weekend trips going from the old home to the new home, and I saw a lot of crazy stuff, you know? So yeah, that's just something to think about, but yeah. Travis T says, first aid and trauma classes are more useful than tactical stuff. I've been first to find a bad accident a couple times late at night and called 911, and thankfully none had serious injuries. Yeah, for me, I've since now in my little truck gun bag, my get home bag, I've got, you know, boo-boo kit in there. I make sure that it's got like, you know, butterfly bandages and stuff like that. And then also I've got a regular like trauma gunshot wound kit that's got quick clot in it. It's got a tourniquet in it. A SWAT T tourniquet is what it has, but I want to get a, what is it, the cat style tourniquet. It's got gauze, it's got tape in it, gloves. Doesn't have anything for like, you know, seeping chest wounds or anything like that. I'm going to get a more serious kit. So I do want to get a plug out there, and he's not making me do this, but CloverTac did a review of a really good med kit that runs around 200 or 220. That's got everything in it that you'll need, and it looks like really good stuff. It has like a little color code system where it's easy to find what you're looking for. And looking at that, and then looking at some of the other kits that are out there, I'm really torn if I want to go something with what CloverTac was showing off, or if I want to go with something from, say, like Bear Independent, which is also really good stuff. But a top of the line trauma kit is going to run you close to $200. And if you look at the prices of the components, it's not far away from that total if you buy this stuff separately. To get an actual, we're talking like maybe military grade, not made in China tourniquet, you're looking at $40. Quick Lot's $20 for a patch. Israeli bandage, gauze. I mean, this stuff adds up really, really quick. Plus, you get the little special bag to carry it in that's going to fit on a battle belt and so on. So, you know, if you're looking at, you know, really getting up in your game on your med kit. Now, again, Travis T makes a good point. You know, you can have all that stuff in the world, but if you don't know how to use it, then it's no good. So you need to look into taking some sort of basic, you know, first aid responder class. Or, I mean, I don't know. Go on YouTube and see, like, Skinny Medic's got a great channel. You could probably find some reputable channels that you could trust for things like a tourniquet use. You know, try to find some channels where you know, the feedback on the channel looks like these people know what they're talking about. But otherwise, definitely look into getting yourself some sort of training. What was it? DJ Playnest, was that you? Somebody had a question that said, where do you find that granular? Okay, Armament Axis says, where do we find stop bleed granular stuff military and others use? You can, I don't know about that, but you can get Quick Clot patches on Amazon. The actual stuff that you pour on the wound, I don't know if you could get that on Amazon or not. You may have to go to a more serious supply company. There's a lot of medical supply companies online that have some pretty solid gear that you can buy that's going to be used by paramedics, first responders, and stuff like that. If you're going to buy some sort of a trauma kit or a first aid kit, if you're going to buy like the highest rated one on Amazon or the most recommended, really read like the 3- and 2-star reviews. Because, you know, just because it's most popular doesn't mean you're getting the highest quality stuff that's in there. A lot of times you might be getting some stuff that's, you know, not made to any kind of real spec. And I was reading some of these, you know, I was looking at like a 3-pack of tourniquets that they had on Amazon. You know, they're 5 stars. Oh, these are great. You got to get them. They're wonderful. And then you read like 3-star reviews where somebody says, yeah, you know, I tested it and it snapped. It's like, okay, that's not the kind of tourniquet I want to buy. So you really want to be careful what kind of gear you're getting in terms of medical supplies for, you know, what you're going to be running. Let's see here. Travis T says, if you're prepping a bag to do a lot of walking, pack a little duct tape. He gave me this advice too on my truck gun bag video. As soon as a hot spot starts on your foot covering, it'll keep it from becoming a blister and you can walk comfortably. Yeah, my med kit that I bought, it's a camping med kit. It has those little patches you can put over blisters, or the beginning part of blisters if you're not used to walking in those shoes. So like, you might be wearing your Sunday church clothes when you have a vehicle breakdown and you've got to go, or whatever. You don't know where life is going to catch you, and you might not have the sneakers that you want to wear, you know. I mean, heck, maybe keep an old pair of sneakers in the back of your vehicle just in case you ever got to change shoes, right? Something to think of. And Pat makes a pretty good point too. Depending on what you do for, you know, like wintertime, your loadout's going to be different than summertime. I always keep a blaze orange stocking cap and a blaze orange deer vest in my car, so I can put that on so I'm visible on the side of the road so somebody doesn't run into me, you know, on the side of the highway. Sometimes in Nebraska, we don't have paved medians. You're changing your tire in a grass, you know, median on the side of the road, and there's cars going by you and there's no room. So like, you never know what you're going to run into. So that's kind of the situation. All right, what do we have here? Storm and Norman says, I used that CloverTac mentioned, but it didn't help me. I'm colorblind. The kit was color-coded. Yeah, but they do have the names of the items on it. I mean, yeah, you make a pretty good point. So I never thought about that. If it's, yeah, it is color-coded by type of item. Is it like an oral medication? Is it a bandage? Is it a stop the bleed item? They're color-coded according to what they do. Again, yeah, that's not going to help you. I mean, you know, my dad is also colorblind, and, you know, red and green, so it all looks like gray to him. So that could be a problem. But again, it's nice and organized and so on. That's one thing I do like about it. Whereas my current trauma pack, you just open it and everything's right there. So you got to know where stuff is. So I guess that's a little bit different. So let me just show you real quick the bag that I have, because we've got about 15 minutes before I want to go ahead and end this, so we can start getting ready for other people that are going live. So here's the actual bag that I bought. And again, I'm not doing this. I have no affiliate link. I've got nothing. I don't even have an Amazon affiliate link or anything like that. I bought and this is an expensive bag. I'm just going to get that out right now. I didn't pay this much. I paid $175, but I have the Elite Survival Systems bag, and it's a pretty big bag. It's about 30 inches tall. And the one that I bought is right here. It's this blue and gray one. I wanted something kind of neutral looking. And it is huge, but it is actually fairly compact, and everything stays nice and tight together. I am able to fit my battle belt in the main pouch around the outside of it. And let me go and click on this one and see if we can get, yeah. So you can see how big it is. But here in Nebraska, again, especially in the town that I'm in Lincoln, there's a lot of hikers and bikers, and you get people that wear stuff like this that go on our trails and go out in our parks and stuff. So college students, I mean, it's not uncommon to see something like this. So it's not so tactical that it's going to draw a lot of attention, like say something that's got a bunch of molly loops on it. Now, granted, if you grab a bug out bag and the situation is that bad, it isn't going to matter anymore because everybody's going to be a resource and everybody's going to have something on them that I want or somebody else wants. So at that point, it doesn't matter. But for me, kind of discreet carry when I'm traveling, keeping something in my vehicle, when I kind of move around a little bit, this is what I went with. And again, I thank Defense Dad for this recommendation. He actually sent me the link for Optics Planet where I got mine, and I got it for $175. Interesting thing about the bag, it came with an ITAR tag that said that I'm not allowed to sell this bag outside of the USA. And when you open it up, it's got some pretty serious hardware inside of it or setup inside of it. It's got a bunch of molly loops. It's very rigid. It sits upright when it's loaded or not loaded. It doesn't like flop over on itself. So my main pouch is set up somewhat similar to this. I do have the 3 magazines in the bottom of mine, and I've got my pistol going across the middle. And then I've got knives on both sides. And then up on the top, I actually keep a med kit, just the boo-boo kit, so I can get to that fairly easily. So mine's a little bit different than what you see right here. I also went with a Mora Bushcraft instead of my K-bar because I wanted to kind of lighten the bag up a little bit, but still have a blade that was nimble, easy to use, and sharp. So I did swap that out. I may go back to the K-bar. I haven't decided yet. And then for the pistol, like I said, I don't have it in the little pistol pouch like you see right here. Well, actually, they show it right here. They've got like a special pistol pouch you can use. I would use this for spare magazines. Although, like I said, I do have a battle belt in my main bag. And my battle belt actually fits around the outside of the large pouch here. And I can whip the belt out, put it on quickly. And then that has the, the extra pouches for the magazines and so on. And then I clip my holster on and I'm good to go. Now, here they're showing it with the 16-inch upper in the bag. And this is all Velcro. It's all loop. So you can put your hook Velcro on there. You can add more if you want to. And it's got a lot of modularity, a lot of expandability. So I've got an AR-15 pistol lower that doesn't have I've got the brace in the bag, but it's not actually on the gun. And I can put that on. The upper that I have is an 11.5-inch upper. Now, this is a 16, and it fits. I don't know if I'd put it barrel down like that personally, but that's going to be really, really tight because my 11.5-inch, when it was assembled, it barely fit in the bag with the bag closed. So I had to keep it in 2 separate parts. So this allows you to keep your firearm in 2 separate halves. Now, if I have to put mine together with the 11.5-inch upper, I can do that, and it will fit in the bag, but the barrel pokes up into the very top. But I can still have the gun at ready if I needed it. So that's a possibility right there. So when you're traveling, it's really a nice way to travel with your AR-15. And I honestly didn't realize a 16 would fit because I just did an 11.5-inch with mine when I was showing it off. But again, a carbine, like a pistol caliber carbine of some style or a takedown carbine would fit really well in here. You can also move those loops up and down to move the items wherever you want. So I guess I just like the potential to load this bag up with whatever I wanted. That was the reason why I went with this particular bag. I do have a single-walled aluminum water bottle I keep on the side, and I now have a Sawyer water filter system in it. That's also there too, so if I had to filter my own water, I could do that also. Again, the idea behind this bag is if I had to go a couple days and up to 25 miles to get to my safe place, what would I need? What would I need to make that happen? And this bag has more than enough room for all those different items. And you guys can check out my video on the bag. And again, no affiliate links, not pushing it to make a sale, but I really did use it to its maximum to get the most out of it. Ton of padding on the back. The padding's at least 1.5 inches thick. I mean, you can put the whole bag on. It's got wonderful weight bearing to it. There's a chest strap. You've got a waist strap. The little straps here on the sides at the bottom have got zipper pouches in them. And I've got a fire starter on one side. I've got windproof matches on the other. So pretty much ready to tackle, just about anything. It is heavy, but when you take the firearms out of it, you're going to be dropping off probably close to 10 pounds, depending on what you're keeping in the bag. And then also the magazines, those are heavy too if you have 3 mags or 4 mags in there. So then for the pistol, I've got 5 magazines also to go with it. So it is a pretty solid investment. The nice thing is I can just grab it, throw it in my vehicle, and that's it. That's all it takes, and I've got everything I need to go. So that's what I think about it. Guys, any thoughts at all? What are you thinking about that? Is that overkill, or what are you guys thinking?
No, you're never going to get to overkill. You know, 'cause you're always going to have the opportunity when something comes up. Gee, I wish I had this or I had that. That's not the time to think about that.
Yeah, this one, like I said, the idea is if I just sustain myself for 2 or 3 days and I'm going to be walking, you know, what is it going to take? And I've got room for a couple mountain house meals that are in there. I've got my water filtration system. I've got a trauma kit. I've got my med kit. I've got flashlight, extra batteries. I've got 2 knives in there. I mean, it's a pistol, a complete belt system, you know, that I put on my battle belt essentially. So that's ready to go. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely now. Soda Popinski says, seen the video. It's a cool bag, but it's big. It is, but part of that height is being able to put that upper in there. Now, one thing that might not be a bad idea is, you know, Chris, you being a PCC guy, pistol caliber carbine guy, Ruger guy, you know, you can take that down into 2 halves. That would fit perfectly in a bag like that.
Yeah.
Isn't going to be lighter, but you could also have mag compatibility with your Glock or with your Ruger pistol based on the mag well that you're running in it. Have you, Chris, have you looked at any kind of a bag for transporting that PCC around at all or not?
No, because I mean, normally the only time I take that gun, it's I've got it in the bag that I need for competition, because that's about the only time I shoot it. Now I've almost got my 300 blackout pistol built now. The gun's actually done. I just haven't got the optic on it yet. So
okay.
It's here. It's just finding the time to
I
get it on.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
But I had a 16-inch AR 300 blackout, and then I decided to build a 7.5-inch upper. So that'll be a nice little compact.
Oh, that'll be super easy to move around and stuff. You know, like I said, in mine, I could have my 11.5-inch upper AR-15 assembled in that bag that I was showing off. I can have it ready to go. As long as I take off any kind of a fin or brace off the buffer tube, it'll fit. It's going to kind of poke up into the top part of the bag. Now, if I had a 10.5-inch, just 1 inch less or anything less than that, it would easily fit fully assembled. So I wouldn't have to take the time to put it together, you know? Now, granted, if I'm in that kind of a hurry, I'm going to have my carry weapon on me, or I'm going to have that spare pistol that's in that front pouch. So, I mean, I could grab those things in a few seconds if I had to. But yeah, it is a large bag, and the idea is, you know, you want to put everything in there that you need. I also have I did break down and get the camouflage poncho, which I could throw over it. You know, if I was wearing that out in the rain, it would also cover up the bag. So, kind of throwing some ideas out there for people to think about if you're going to go with any kind of a survival setup. So
yeah, I'll throw in one more little thing right there.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to go with a poncho and your bag is not waterproof, I highly recommend getting a size bigger frog tog. It's basically a poncho company. I used it to great success with my little just everyday carry bag, and even my bug out bag. I mean, it's fairly decent sized on me, but I can literally, with the elastic and everything around the bottom, I can throw it over the top of me, the bag, cinch it down at the bottom, and it just keeps everything great. So if you get a poncho and you carry a bag, get one that will cover you and your bag, and man, that makes it's great. So you're not your bag's not getting soaked up with water. It's extra weight. It's bogging you down, and you got all that water, especially if it's cooler outside, running down your back and right into your.
Yeah, that is not going to be fun.
Right
yeah,
no.
Yeah, and you can get, you know, covers that go over your backpack, also waterproof covers that have elastic on them that you can cinch and have straps and stuff if you want to really seal that bag good. Because this one is, I don't think this one's even, I mean, it's just like a 500 denier nylon, so it has minimal, you know, water repellent abilities and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
do any of you guys carry an umbrella? Like
I have one in my vehicle. Yeah, I do. Yeah. I do have one in my umbrella.
Do you use it though? Do you use it?
I do when I walk the dog in the mornings when it's pouring out. The problem is in Nebraska, you get blowing rain, and an umbrella that'll cover your head, but the rest of your body's going to get soaked. So I do have one
too.
When it's a nice, just heavy downpour or just rain, and I don't want to deal with it. I just want to walk the dog in the mornings, not, you know, get soaked or whatever. I'll use the umbrella. Yeah, I'll grab it. Yeah.
Yeah, I use an umbrella all the time, and the astonished looks you get from people that. I always tell people, my mom raised me well enough to get out of the rain, idiot.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, dude. Yeah, no, I have one in the car, so I actually keep one of those little ones that it pops open and opens up on its own, you know. Yeah, and I grab that in the mornings when I walk the dog.
You'd be shocked at how many people are just gobsmacked that somebody would pull out an umbrella when it's raining.
Maybe you should get one like in camouflage, so you're accepted by the tactical community. Get like a 511 tactical umbrella. You know, that's. I've seen the ones that they sell that have like little vents in the top for the heavy wind that you have to deal with also. So yeah, if it's blowing rain, I mean, I'm not taking the dog out, but if it's kind of raining out and it's coming down good, then yeah, I do reach for the umbrella. So now Defense Set, who also has the same, that elite, a survival systems bag that I was just showing you there. Defense Set says, I mainly bought that bag if I go on a trip and want a rifle with me, but don't want it obvious if I'm in a hotel or stuff like that. So you look like a hiker checking into a hotel, or you look like somebody who's, just camping. You're going to go do some camping and stuff. I mean, people take all kinds of bags and stuff with them. So that's one thing I like about it, is it doesn't scream tactical to the average person, because they're not expecting you to be walking in with a concealed AR. It's just you have a giant backpack. Oh, this guy's a camper, or this guy's a hiker. This guy's a whatever. I don't look like I'm a hiker, but anyway. Now, I do want to show you real quick. There's an alternative to that, and maybe I was thinking maybe Ghost Tactical showed this off. I could be wrong about this one. You guys might know, because I thought maybe he showed this one off on his channel. So this is the Savior Equipment Specialist series. It's a 30-inch to 34-inch tactical SBR rifle bag. So here's another example of one. You can get it in tan or just basic black or olive drab green. They're $79.99 to $92.50 depending on the color and the size. So about half the price of what I paid. But these things are big enough you can basically have your SBR in there, probably a 10.5-inch, 11.5-inch SBR, and you're going to be all set to go. Got the tactical pouches in the front and stuff like that. The Molly loops are really nice, because if you have anything Molly compatible like my mag pouches are, they just go right in and buckle in, and they don't go anywhere, which is really nice. Heavy padded straps and stuff, so you can kind of see what the options are. So this is decent. I mean, this is a really cool little setup, and I thought maybe he showed this one off, but this might be a nice alternative, especially if you don't need all the extra little pouches. You just want something to kind of get maybe to the range and back, but you want to kind of conceal it a little bit, not be too obvious, but at the same time, kind of keep everything padded and protected while you're out. So this one's pretty cool. I saw this one also. And then if you just go to Amazon or wherever and just type in tactical backpack, I mean, they start at $39 and they go up from there. Now, granted, they're not going to be like a covert style bag that's going to look like a modern hiking pack. They're going to be tactical style with Molly loops on them. You get them in black or FTE or olive drab green or whatever. So you can get yourself into a nice setup, or at least if at a minimum, kind of like what Pat showed off there, you can have your pistol, extra mags, basic survival stuff, med kit. You can really, I could slim that bag down to half if I didn't feel like I wanted to take an AR-15 with me. Part of the idea though is if I got to go and I might not be coming back, I need something to get to where I'm going, And so that's why I prefer to have, 3 mags or 4 mags with me with the AR. So.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I went with just the solid color on my everyday carry bag that I just throw in the car versus a bug out bag or something like that, something a lot heavier with a lot more gear in it, just so that way it blends in a little bit better, so that way they're not seeing all this camo or tactical kind of wrap on their bag and stuff. Just that way it kind of blends in. It's like, oh, well, that guy's just a hiker.
Yeah, that's why I got the blue and gray one, because it looks like almost like a computer bag or whatever. It's just a giant, camping bag. It looks like a North Face bag or something,
Exactly. Yeah. That's perfect just for blending in. So
I got a question for you, Travis, and that's actually for the reloaders.
Yeah.
The zombies are coming down the street. It's time to go.
Yeah.
Taking primers with you or not?
No, I'm going to take probably 5 bricks of 500 rounds of 22 LR and a 1022 or my Rossi 722, and then I'm gone. That's pretty much what I need, because you just got to, headshot,
You leaving primers behind, Chris?
Okay, I got to chime in on this one.
Real quick, I don't have any primers to leave. I've reloaded everything I can except for, I got 1,000 shotgun primers, but I'm not going to take my shotgun press with me or the provisions to reload a shotgun. I'm sure as hell I'm not going to carry a 45-pound bag of lead shot with me when I go, because I got a 45-pound bag right here. No, primers are going to stay. Several bricks of 22 LR if it's a zombie invasion. Definitely. All right.
Yeah, Henry 22 with a large loop lever and the speedy reloader in the back.
Yeah, and then I'm going west to Pat's. I'm going to go to Pat's house. So Pat, be ready. I'm coming.
That's not.
We're all going to Pat's. We're all going to Pat's bunker.
The primers are probably going to stay, but I I'll admit, Kingpin, I'm probably going to be crying that whole walk away from him.
I'd make sure them things were in a very secure container.
Yeah.
Hey, Kingpin, real quick. It's amazing how many people have umbrellas in the gun community. We're all closet umbrella owners. Everybody's got umbrellas, man.
Hey,
oh, man. Seriously.
They're made for a
says they
reason.
have 3 or 4. Watt 75. We got
I'll tell you that those umbrellas have come in handy so many times it matches.
Yep.
I got one that I can mount to my cart because
Defense dad to keep a big golf umbrella in the car. See, look at that. Look at that. I'm telling you, man. So anywho, but yeah, so just to show you guys, there are lots of different options for what you can do. And again, mine's probably being a little too paranoid, if you will. But the idea was, well, let's just say I've got to go the 25 miles to get to the safest place I can think of, and I can't stay in the town that I'm in for whatever reason. Then yeah, I definitely want to make sure I can get there. So do make sure you check out my videos on the series too.
We can check that. We can check that real quick on your paranoia.
Mm-hmm.
All your survival stuff. Do you budget your income in order to buy your survival stuff? Say your $300 Save Your Equipment bag. Did you cash your check and go to the Save Your Equipment store and throw $300 down, or did you budget that out over a period of time in order to get the bag that you think is the most proper bag for what your needs are?
I started off by getting the firearm because I've got other bags I could throw, the firearm in. I started with the firearm, and then the second part was getting the handgun, and then the third part was the bag, and then the fourth part was the stuff that goes in the bag, all the extra stuff. So I limit myself to so many hundreds of dollars per month. I could have gone out and just bought it all in one shot if I wanted to. But I didn't feel like blowing, half the paycheck or whatever on it in one shot. I did draw it out over 4 months. But I mean, I got what was most important to me first, which was the rifle first, the AR pistol first, then getting the pistol set with the proper holster and magazine pouches and extra mags and ammo for that. And then again, third was bag, and fourth was all the stuff that goes in the bag. I've already got a trauma kit and a med kit, but I needed to get another one to actually put in that bag. So does that help, or did I?
Do you have 6 more? Do you have 6 more identical sitting in the closet behind you?
I just have the one that I need.
Yeah,
just
you're
the
not
one for
paranoid.
me. The one that okay, good, yeah. No, I mean, and I don't think for medical supplies, I don't think you can possibly have enough of those. Like I've got a good full first aid kit in the kitchen. I've got, a small one I keep in my vehicle for travel. There's some things that I think you can't over prep for just because of life experiences that we have. Firearms, some of us may or may not keep them in several places in our home because you don't know where you're going to be if you ever need it, especially if you don't carry your gun on you in the home. So, there's things like that. But no, I don't have, like 5 years of rations stocked up or, a camouflage Suburban sitting downstairs all gassed up, ready to go. I mean, I'm living my life like a normal person, just every day going through life, but just things like this where I want to have this stuff, or if I just need some of these supplies when I'm on the road, it's like, I'd like to have these items with me when I go. So that was pretty much my mentality behind the idea behind this. So again, go ahead.
I'm going to say it's no different than brushing your teeth and preventative maintenance.
Yeah, pretty much just have what you need on standby so you can get by. So let's see here. I used to have an umbrella that something like a hat. Not sure what Fluffy was saying there. New York Outcast, you're probably better served with a hat so you can have your hands free or a gun depending on what's going on. That's the other thing too. I always keep, I'm a Nebraskan. I'm always wearing a ball cap. This is a Nebraskan's cowboy hat basically. So I keep an extra. I always have a ball cap in my vehicle because I've had to put them on and change tires in the rain, or been out and just needed one, or doing work for family and just want to have one, keep the sun out of my eyes and so on, or keep the bugs off me. So Travis T says, try not to fill your bag because you may have some odd things with you at the moment that needs to come with you. That was part of having an oversized bag. If I was to take out the AR, which has a sling on it, by the way, that whole pouch would be open. I could put in there whatever I wanted. I mean, I could really load it up if I needed to. So that's part of it too. So, all right. Oh, hey, we got Bald and Curious out there. There we go. He says, at New York Outcast, hey, what's up, Glock guy? There you go. Speaking of Glocks, I did pick up a Gen 5 G17, so you guys are going to be seeing that on the channel here pretty soon. I was getting tired of not having one around, so I had to definitely pick one up. So, All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up. It's been a little over an hour, so this has been our little discussion on the truck gun bag, the get home bag, and so on. Why don't we go ahead and let everybody give us their final plugs, and we'll talk one more time about Thunder on the Prairie 2022 and what that's all about. Before we do that, Chris, why don't you go ahead and give us your final plug, man? What do you want to say?
Thanks again for having me on. Side chat was awesome tonight. I always enjoy this show. So,
good.
Yeah, I just threw up a new video today in the TX22 competition series I'm doing, and Wednesday night I have my live chat from 9 to 11 Eastern.
You know, if you really want to get get kind of a lap out of the future Mrs. to be, just take that ring off the back of the TX22 and just give that to her at some point and see what the reaction is. So give her a tactical charging ring off the back of your pistol. Say, but you know, yeah. Anyways, a stupid idea.
End up with a black eye.
Yeah, pretty much. So Chris, when is your live show? So just so people know, so they know when to check it out. When do you go live?
Wednesday night, 9 to 11 Eastern.
Yep. 8 to 10 Central Time.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Good. I always have to do the math in my head. All right, man. Well, appreciate having you here. Thanks for being here. It's always good to get your advice and kind of hear what you have to say. So awesome.
Thank you.
All right. And my neighbor, possibly to the west, Pat, anything you want to say before we go?
Just thanks for having me on. Go check out everybody's channel. A lot of good guys on here tonight. A lot of good conversation in here and on the side chat, just like Chris said. Actually give me a couple ideas tonight that I didn't think about. So always nice to come on to these shows and be a part of it. Gets the old gears a-turning up in the head, and just to think, oh, I didn't think about that. I didn't think about that. So it's always good. It's always a good time when you can come in and do something like this. So thanks for having me on tonight, Travis. Appreciate it.
No problem. Yeah, I can't remember what channel it was. I was watching another channel. It was a fairly large channel. The guy was showing what he puts in his truck gun bag, and I forgot about this. Have something bright and visual you could use to signal people if you have to, whether quietly or intentionally or unintentionally. If you gotta flag somebody down, think about having something, you know, bright orange, maybe a bandana or something you keep in your bag for emergencies, you know, just in case. So that's something to think about. Also, if you guys ever go to Harbor Freight, they always give out those little free lights. They have a little triangle-shaped light that flashes with a magnet on the back. So whether your vehicle works or not, you can put that on the back of your vehicle and turn on the flasher, and it's LEDs, and you can see the thing at like 100 yards or more. So, you know, if you have an emergency light in the dark and you don't want somebody to hit you, you know, put that on, sit that on back of your vehicle and turn it on. So little things like that you should think about when you hit the road. So I don't know, we might have to have our annual summer travel discussion on Saturday just to see what we take with us on road trips. Very similar to the discussion we had tonight. So, all right, man. Pat, appreciate having you here. Thank you very much, and also sharing your loadout for your truck gun bag. So there you go. All right, and Kingpin, anything to say before we go, buddy?
Thanks for having me. I always appreciate being on the show. And
Cool.
you doing some shout out stuff going on. Rob D's been doing a lot of internet stuff recently, so go check out he's got posts and community area and videos and all kinds of stuff coming out. So check him out.
Absolutely, man. Great stuff. All right, Single Shot, anything to say before we go?
Well, thank you for the invite. I got in a little bit late, but got in here at least and said hello to everybody. Say hello to everybody in the chat. And Pat, howdy. Good to see you, bud. Dave, appreciates your efforts about reposting the links. That helps a lot of folks find our channels as well. So I appreciate that very much. Headed out tomorrow, headed out to Indiana first stop, and then down into Arlington, Texas. So that's where we're headed on this next trip. So take care, everybody. God bless. And appreciate everything that each and every one of you are doing.
There we go.
America moves by truck.
Heck yeah. And, you know, he's probably been here for a half hour. Defense Dad, you know, your icons aren't popping up. I thought you were Foos and it doesn't give your name. So Defense Dad, are you with us? Can you hear us?
I'm here for like 10 minutes. I'm driving home.
I'm sorry, man. I didn't realize you. Anything you want to say about the whole bag idea or anything that's important to think about?
No, I think you covered it pretty well. I will say the reason I chose that bag, I like the kind of the gray man version of it. You can buy bags a lot cheaper if you don't mind having Molly and stuff all over. But to me, that just screams I got a gun. So that's why I choose those kind of ones. And like the one I emailed you earlier. That's about it.
And so you and I are in a fairly gun-friendly state, but not necessarily in a very gun-friendly town. I mean,
Yeah,
people have
that's the
tested the
thing. Like
waters
here,
with, you know, yeah.
Yeah, I just like something that looks like a normal backpack. It seems like everybody their dog work carries a backpack, so it's kind of innocuous.
Yeah, yeah, this is true. This is true. All right, make sure you guys check out Defense Dad's channel. A lot of great reviews over there also, and definitely, you know, make sure you guys get over there and like and subscribe. Lots of good stuff. All right, and also joining us and Squibload. Any final words of wisdom? Anything you want to leave us with this evening?
Yeah, I think I talked about too many things that would be on Saturday's show and not today's show.
Dude, don't worry about it. No, it doesn't matter. No, because we kind of have like a kind of a nasty weather chat / you know, bug out chat or whatnot. So that's looking at past episodes of Caliber Corner. That's what we've discussed in the past. So it doesn't matter. No, I mean, there's a lot of things that I have in there that I wouldn't necessarily need for, say, a one-way 25-mile journey, but they're nice things to have because you never know. You know, like I wouldn't necessarily have to have a juice pack for my phone because I would just turn my phone off or, you know, limit the use of it because it's going to last a couple days. But, you know, still, there's a lot of little things that you mentioned that I think are very useful. So I think it's important. Cool, man. All right. Well, Squid, appreciate having you here. And hopefully we'll see you on Saturday. We'll be back at 8 a.m. Central Time. Joining us late, AWAG, you just got home from work. How's things going, man? How you doing?
I am absolutely working my butt off. Making cool things happen.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Now that you're in a more firearm-friendly state, AWAG, do you travel with any kind of a truck gun bag setup at all? What do you do?
Yep. Okay. So I have no problem telling people what is in my truck because it leaves my truck every time I come home.
Yeah, I don't leave anything in my vehicle either unless I'm just like running into someplace quick, but still I've got the hatch. So, but yeah, not overnight.
So I have a Spiritus microfight system that has 2 loaded AR-15 magazines, and then I run the little Mark 18 clone that I have in the box. But that's off and on. I rotate quite often. Sometimes I carry it, sometimes I don't. But it just depends on how much of a rush I'm in. If I'm in a rush, normally, since I'm like 5 minutes away from work, I normally don't take it. But if I'm having a good morning, usually I throw everything in the box. And in the front pouch of the microfight is a relatively decent IFAK, and that's about it. Since I live so close to work, I really don't need much more than that if I'm at work and stuff decides to go sideways very, very quickly. But that's just about it. I have a couple med kits and stuff in my truck too.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Having just kind of a little like a road traveler first aid kit, and then also having the IFAK in there also. Yeah.
And another thing to look out for that I like to have is have at least a quart of every fluid for the vehicle, at least.
Well, that's just because you drive an old Chevy. I mean, that's necessary.
It doesn't leak or anything. I just like having them on hand. You know.
Yeah. No, dude. When I had my Jeep, when I had my Cherokee, I would have a bottle of premixed antifreeze. I'd have a quart of oil, and I usually had a jug of windshield washer fluid because in the wintertime you go through obscene amounts of it when you're trying to keep your windshield clean from slush thrown up on there, especially if you have a highway or interstate trip. I would keep all that like in a plastic tub in the back. Just put my emergency supplies in there, like a little vest in there also for bright vests so people would see me if I had to change a tire. So I did keep a full. I actually did a video on it like 6 years ago, like my travel box essentially, and I agree totally. And my vehicle didn't burn oil; it didn't have any problems. But you know, if you're going to bust a hose and have to duct tape it and refill the reservoir or whatnot, so you know, especially if you have a vehicle with high miles, and a lot of people are driving their vehicles a lot longer than they used to. You're pushing 250,000 miles on your vehicle, and you haven't done a lot of maintenance on it. You don't know if you're going to blow a radiator hose or if you're going to have a plug pop out or something. I mean, you know. So no. So I mean, I don't blame you. I shouldn't even talk because I did the exact same thing for years. Now I got a new vehicle, and so I do keep a quart of oil around for in case it would ever run low. I take that with me on road trips, and it doesn't. But having all those basic supplies, not a bad idea, especially if you got the room in your vehicle for it. So
yeah, I usually keep a case of water in my box as well. I keep a case of water. I keep a concentrated coolant, a gallon of concentrated coolant.
Yeah.
2 quarts of oil, power steering fluid. I keep 1 quart of ATF fluid. I keep 3 quarts just in case, because automatic transmissions are really finicky if they're low.
Yeah.
But other than that, I just have med kits and 2 magazines of high quality defensive AR ammo.
Mm-hmm. Cool. All right. So, guys, that wraps it up. I want to thank everybody for watching. I want you guys to have yourselves a great evening. Take care. Have fun. Be safe, guys. And as you know, we will talk to you soon. We'll see everybody later. Bye-bye.
Bye, Alicia.
Great weapon.